it's not just, just marketing NFTs, it's also just understanding NFTs myself, so I actually want to profit from it.
Making it clear, none of this is financial advice, because the next question I'm asking is just,
Is it financial advice?
Not financial advice. Yeah. So, how do we spot, for people who want to flip or people who want to, trade, how, what are the, indicators that people can look at the project? Is it the team? Is it the art? Is it the Discord members? What are the key indicators?
Yeah, so in the past, I want to say until like January of 2022, it was basically if you had enough people in your Discord, 30% of them would buy the NFTs. And that's how you would know like they're going to be successful. Or like the whitelisters, like if you have enough whitelisters, you know they're going to be successful. But now things have changed. So you got to actually, like the research is a little bit more elaborate. So it's not just like looking at the community, but you got to look at, see, hey, are they like, do they have money, right?
Okay.
Can they, what if they failed, like they didn't sell out, can they deliver? And then, because for example, like I'm partnered up with a VC, and if projects don't have money or if something happens, like they can funnel money into them, right? But like, that's not the case for all projects. Sometimes projects, when they don't sell out, they're done. They're completely done. Like they can't do anything. They can't deliver on anything because everything was just based on like the money that they were gonna actually raise, right? So that's important. It's just like, see, do they have money? Like what like do they know if like something goes wrong, what are they gonna do, right? And what if they get hacked? Do they actually look into things like that? Do they pay attention to things like that, right? So all the aspects like that goes into marketing and just seeing if they're gonna do it and they're gonna be successful, right? The other side of things is like I have my own projects that I see that they're gonna do well, so I invest in them too. So it's like insider information. And then just like like alpha groups out there too. Like there are alpha groups. Like in my program, we kind of have our own alpha groups too. It's kind of weird, but it just got created one day, where like people talk about projects that they're gonna invest in and they're gonna ape in, and like, okay, cool, let's just go all in and do that, right? So you can do that too. But I think it's so that's one approach, right? Just doing all that research. And then the other approach is really like just investing in like blue chip collections, because then they're always gonna have money, they're always gonna deliver. So that's that. Like some projects I invested in, like I had lots of like alien friends. I was buying them for like $500-$400, and I would flip them for 10K. It was such an amazing time, and I didn't get to get all the merch and everything because I flipped them already. But I think my sister still has some. But yeah, like that was like the type of projects like I would go for. I would just see, okay, what's trending, look at the volume, 24 hours, 7 days, things like that, and just see like if there are like indicators on that. But currently, I mostly just invest in projects that are in my program because I see everything about them. I'm like, I have limited time, right? So I see everything about them. I'm like, okay, this makes sense. I'm gonna buy.
And you're closely working with the team, right? So you know what's happening there.
Yeah, exactly. So I know if they're not gonna sell out, obviously, no point investing too much money in it.
Correct. So also Arvin, you were actually talking about getting hacked, right? Because Zeneca got hacked and BAYC got hacked, and even the project that I was working with, sometimes it got compromised and we had to shut everything down, and an entire thing on Discord, right? So what happens then? What happens to the projects that maybe collab land gets hacked or something?
Yeah, unfortunately, like one of the large projects everyone was talking about that I was involved with got hacked. They lost 600K first few hours of like the mint was open. And
wait, 600K?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we were like, okay, but like we can still like pull it. Like we told people, we're gonna bring auditors, we're gonna bring, like we tried everything like we could, but no one was touching us. Like everyone was still afraid. So unfortunately in the Web3 space, if you get hacked, you're kind of like doomed. But if your wallet gets hacked, if your Discord gets hacked, people are okay. Like people still come back and mint. But if your wallet gets hacked, that's like kind of like difficult to come back. Like that project never recovered.
Exactly.
And it was very unfortunate because first of all, I had a lot of investment in it. Second of all, I was doing the marketing. Third, I just wanted them to be successful. They're really cool people, really cool project. Really like the community wanted them to be successful. Like there were people crying, literally like crying their eyes out on Twitter Spaces, just saying like how unfortunate that is. But that's just the way it is.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, because, we're also coming to the end of our podcast, and I just wanted to ask you, how do you think regulations are going to play out? Because, if you know about, the Indian taxing and everything, so the structure is a little bit dicey, and it's not a very crypto friendly environment here. And you see a diaspora of crypto natives moving to, Dubai and Singapore, which is way more crypto friendly and supports blockchain, right? So how do you think it's going to play out with NFTs?
Yeah, so NFT regulations, so the more regulations we have, the less profit people will make as for traders. Like that's just what's going to happen, right? So like the reason that like a lot of people make a lot of profits just because of the uncertainty, right? So there's a lot of uncertainty. A lot of people don't touch things, but like people who have the courage, they go in and make a lot of money, right? So that's like one of the factors. So there's that. And then also there's been one of the projects I worked with, they got sued by the SEC and and then they don't even live in the US, which is kind of weird, but their audience is in the US. They also got delisted from OpenSea because of that. And then so they went on a different platform. I don't know the outcome of that hearing with SEC and that project, but the moment SEC gets like one or two projects like sued and then they have like something on them where like they're successful, unfortunately that will be a cascade of events, like lots of projects will go down. So that's just not a good thing. So like if there's any way people can just like support projects that are like in that situation, like they should do it, like investing money in them, investing like bringing lawyers for them, like whatever it is, because SEC will just go where money is, right? So they want to make it harder, and we don't want that, right? So that's one side of things with NFTs. Now there are going to be regulations for cryptocurrencies that's coming out in the US, the regulations and everything for people, and it's like cool things too. Like one of the things I read in there, it's like, hey, if you have like for example cryptocurrencies, unless you actually exit out, you're not going to get taxed on it, which is cool. Like that makes sense, right? But until then, I think people should do what I'm doing also, where I'm actually going to move to Dubai, like because they're just a lot more forward thinking into things. Like for example, in Canada, give you guys personal experience. My bank the other day was telling me, it's like, do you have anything to do with cryptocurrencies? I was like, none of your business, first of all. And then, but then they're like, we don't like that. Like for exchange, we wouldn't work with you if you have anything to do with cryptocurrencies. So that's like a really big deal, right? So if you have like lots of money in the account, right? And then they just like all of a sudden, like you get frozen. That's one of the reasons, like I would encourage people to just go where like you're wanted, you're welcome, versus like, you have your like contribution in cryptocurrencies, and then you go into countries with like, I guess China, for example, is like the exact opposite, right? They don't like it, so then don't go there. Like
totally 100%, because also when are becoming wealthier, you do get a lot of attention, right? A lot of attention from even CRA. So I think you're in Canada, so the Canadian Revenue Agency, and people do come after you. People do want a piece of it, and things like this happen. And I'm really bullish on this. I'm really bullish on the entire crypto space, and also been reading the book Balaji's Network State, right? And it shows how startup economies are going to shape the future and things like that. But then your points are really great, right? I still have one last question, right? So what do you think about the bear market?
Yeah, I think it's okay. So I and lots of my friends, we've lost anywhere from 200 to 600K each. So I mean, it was painful. Like I'll tell you, like real life example. It was this. I was actually keynote speaker at this event in Cyprus, and it was right around the Luna crash. And I remember the moment that the talk was over, I just wanted to I just looked down and I started just like walking off the stage. I wasn't even thinking about like people at this stage or anything. I was just like, the whole crypto was almost just like crumbled, like the whole crypto space. There was literally like that feeling around it where I was just like, I just wanted to go in like closet and just like close the door and just hide. Like that's how bad that was. Like not just like losing money, but also just like it just everything felt like just like a disaster. Like everything just like it literally just felt like it just like crumbled, right? So that was my personal experience. But having said that, we all came out of it like it's all good, you know. We just adapted, and then now we have like new strategies for everything. And also like I'm gonna do a Twitter space with a data company to get like the current stats of things. But in January, we were having 500 projects entering the market every day. That's not good. That's just like, I mean, it could be good if we had enough people onboarding from Web 2 to Web 3 space. That would be awesome, right? But we didn't. So that was not good in that sense, because there's just way too many projects, like not as many people to buy up. So this bear market, actually what it did was just a lot of these projects now shying away from coming to the market. And they should, if they just thinking this is just some cash grab, or it's like if they don't have like the determination, the grit, the resiliency to just like go through all these like different ups and downs of things, and everything happens, like they're just gonna point at people or like blame their influencers, blame their marketers, blame their team, blame their like, I don't know, mother or father, whatever that they whoever they want to blame, right? If that's the kind of people they are, they should just not come to the space. They should just, you know, that's not for them. This is a very volatile space, and maybe in the future it will be less volatile, but maybe it won't. Just like how startups are, like if startups don't always, you know, become successful, like a lot of them fail, and like fail like miserably. Like people become homeless. Like that's like the real data. I think people are just kind of like oblivious to. Where like that happens. Like there are like, go to like freaking Hollywood and just see how many homeless like actor and actresses are there, right? So like they just had like big dreams, but nothing happened with those big dreams, right? And just that's just life. You either like make it happen or you don't, like this, you know, black and white in that sense. But so my I guess my take on bear market, even though I hated it, like it was just like it was very depressing, honestly. Like it took a lot from me, like just talking to a really good friend of mine, to just like keep it up, like, you know, just like have that like good energy just throughout. And I believe right now we're kind of over it. Like we don't like at least the emotions are not there. Like we know like, hey, this is the whatever it is, and like now it's like building. So it did a bunch of things. It just cleaned up all the people and like projects that weren't fit for this space. And then also it's like projects that are not going to be like, you know, good and like actually like putting effort into things, they're just not coming to the space because they're like freaking like scary. And then also I think we also got to, between ourselves, we got to know who is like in this space for just like the ups and downs, right? So like some people,
I'm in it for the tech.
Yeah, exactly. Some people just disappeared, and then you're like, wait, what happened? Like I thought you were like really big into this, like you were super bullish. And so I think that's also cool. Like, you know, we got to see like I never, like for myself, I can speak, I never even a second I thought like, oh, I'm gonna do like something else, or I'm gonna like leave this space. I just thought like, I was like, okay, this sucks, it just feels really bad, but let's figure it out, you know. And that's the space that we want to have, like people coming in to build and innovate. So I think that's another thing that's going to happen because of all this difficulty. Like we all just were forced to innovate. We all were forced to like come up with new things, and that's perfect. That's just like really healthy thing. It's almost like natural selection that just happened, like, you know, survival of the fittest. So perfect. Like all the good things, they're gonna stay, and then like it's gonna be more of the good things.
Perfect. I've actually spoken to a lot of people about the bear market, and you pointing out that it's natural selection, and it happens, right? The cycles always happen, and the fittest always survive. And even if you're not the fittest, and you want to be in the space, you eventually become the survivor. And that just blows my mind, right? So it is, Arvin, it was an amazing conversation, sir. It was amazing conversation. Got a lot of pointers about, the entire NFT space. And, I feel my perspective has kind of changed, right? Let's not look at projects as just images being sold, right? There's more to it. And as, if you're a founder watching this, I'd say be on Twitter Spaces, man. Be on Twitter Spaces. Talk to community members. Connect with them in a more human way. I think that's what community is all about, right? And also do follow Arvin Khamseh, right? He's very active on Twitter, and also has a blue check mark if that's what is important for you.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
Any last pointers, Arvin, you want to share?
No, definitely. Just reach out if there's anything that you guys are working on. So it's Arvin K NFT, Arvin K NFT, on all socials, but on Twitter and LinkedIn I'm the most active. Instagram too, but don't go there as much. And then it's just there's way too many things, right? So and then also with my program too, if they want to just learn about it, soldoutnfts.io. So it's soldnfts.io. They can learn about it with some of them at least. And
perfect.
They wanna verify I worked with like 400 projects. There are links into my Upwork and Fiverr and all these other platforms. They can see reviews, everything. So
for sure. Again, it was an amazing conversation, and I'll see you around, Arvin. I'll see you around in the spaces. I'll see you around in the Discord then. Yeah.
Of course. See you soon.
Yeah. All right then. Thank you so much, sir.